All right, so for today, we're gonna be showing you the bicycle crunch. This is a great exercise to hit every single component, every part of your abs. So there's three main components, three main movements for any ab exercise. The first is spinal flexion. This is the most familiar one that you probably have seen before. This is what you use in a crunch or a sit-up. So spinal flexion, let's show them spinal flexion. This is spinal flexion right there. So that motion of the crunch is flexing the spine. So this, right now, Krista's spine is neutral. As she crunches, she's flexing her spine with her abs. So your abs attach from two ends. So they attach the upper end to your ribs, and that's why she's pulling that end there to crunch up. The other end of your abs, the lower abs, attach to your hips. And so we can hit hip flexion as well. So if we show that here, this is the other way to be hitting your abs, by pulling in there. So it's that pelvis, that posterior pelvic tilt, which is a fancy way of saying this tilt here at her pelvis pulling back. That is how you hit the lower abs. So those are the two components, right? You have the spinal flexion, you have hip flexion. Number three is the obliques, the sides, the muffin top area. And there's a couple different ways to hit that, but one of the most common ways is rotation. So if you are staying in place and rotating side to side, that's gonna work your obliques. You can try that right now. Just sit in place and twist, and you'll feel the sides of your stomach activating. So if you've seen a Russian twist before, just come up for a second, show what rotation is. So this motion right here, going side to side, that's called a Russian twist. All three of those pieces are in this exercise. Ready to show it? All right, so this is the bicycle crunch all together. So you start with your knees bent. Now, instead of the hands behind the head, for most people I want to tell you to start with your hands at the sides of the head. Because we want your hands back there, but we want the hands at the sides of the head with the elbows out wide. Because if your hands are behind your head, you're very likely to pull on your neck. So start with your hands at the side of your head. If you feel comfortable with it behind your head, that's fine. My only concern is it hurting your neck. So if it doesn't, you're good. Okay, so now with the elbows out wide, we're gonna go and we're gonna do the bicycle crunch going opposite elbow to opposite knee. And then as she goes and crunches, she's alternating sides, right? So while one leg comes forward, the other leg comes back. So she's getting that hip flexion every single time on one side, she's getting the spinal flexion on the other, and she's getting the rotation every single rep. So she's hitting every part of her abs as she moves back and forth. Okay, now, what do you do if that's too intense for you? What if you can't do that? That takes a lot of work and very quickly fatigues you because you're staying moving the entire time. There's no rest there. Well, then you're gonna do a modification called the bicycle sit-up, which basically it incorporates all the same movements, but you're resting a little bit in between. So you start from flat on the ground, hands are at the sides of the head again, and we're gonna go elbows out wide. We're gonna go elbow to knee, doing that crunch, but we're not staying up. So go ahead. So doing that sit-up and then coming down and then switching. It's just more of a sit-up where she's coming all the way to the ground. She gets quick rest there as she comes down. She's not staying up, having to flex and engage her abs and work on that stability as she's moving with everything up. So that is the bicycle crunch / sit-up. I'll see you next time.